What's going on, guys? Shane here.
And I'm Vince. Today we are going to be working on hand trapping to negate our opponent's attacks, control the rhythm of the fight, and also creating angles for ourselves.
Awesome. And we're talking specifically about MMA, but these techniques work for boxing as well. George Foreman was one of the best at hand trapping, so let's take a look at the techniques. Alright guys, so I personally like using the hand trapping at a longer distance. Some people call it a long guard in Muay Thai, but like I said, George Foreman used it a lot in boxing. It's a great way to just stop your opponent from throwing attacks, because all a parry is, if Vince throws a jab, a parry is just redirecting, but that's really all it needs, just that little bit of contact to redirect the hand and push it away. So if I'm putting the palms of my hands on his knuckles, I'm going to stop those punches from coming in. One that I learned from Liam Harrison was defending against the lead uppercut. It's very common if someone starts with the lead uppercut, they're going to follow up with the cross hand, boom. So what he teaches is block both at the same time, right? I'm trapping both hands, I have control. I drop in with an elbow because he's open, so control the hands. But now Vince is going to show a couple of other variations at different ranges.
Yeah, I like to really use these hand traps when we get tighter on the inside, okay? So if I'm striking against Shane here and I notice he's starting to shell up a little bit, that's the perfect opportunity for me to hop in tight and start controlling these wrists, okay? You see this often a lot with guys who either particularly stick to kickboxing or stand-up, and maybe they're not so much used to using hands to parry, maybe they're not using a lot of head movement. Sometimes guys just shell up, and you see it in MMA more often than not too. So if you see your opponent start to shell up here, boom, I step in and control the wrist. So we have a few different options from here. One of my favorite things to do is actually cut an angle, okay? So I'm gonna step 90 degrees here and hop off to the side. So I'm controlling Shane's wrist, hop off to the side 90 degrees, I can come over with the elbow, I can switch knee down the middle, I can let go and start letting my hands go as well. But what I'm trying to do is get off to the side, so I'm controlling that rhythm of the fight. So Shane thinks, okay, he's on offense, now he's on defense. Okay, what do I do now? Okay, that's what's going through his brain. Yeah. I'm off at a bad angle, I don't have my guard up, am I gonna step back, am I gonna turn? What's gonna happen next? So it's very important to try to control that rhythm of the fight, and hand trapping like that is one of the techniques.
I definitely feel my balance being broken too, because at that point I'm kind of resisting against the punches coming in, and then when you redirect, I'm falling off balance here. Now, one of my favorites that you caught me with in sparring, because this was my idea for a video. What you did when I had my back up against the wall, the cage, was you trap my hands here and hit me with a flying knee so that I couldn't defend against it. That was one of my favorites. All right, so carry on. Continue.
Exactly, yeah. So like that, like you said, with that flying knee here, you kind of give a little push, okay? One thing people forget to do all the time is you can actually push. Now, I'm not saying come in like Frankenstein and do this type of thing. It's not going to work in a fight. But if this guy shells up, I get him off balance. Give him a nice little push, okay? Yeah. So off this back leg, I'm springing forward. I'm not just doing an arm push. I'm really going to try to throw Shane off balance. So I spring forward, and then I can cut my angles and start landing some strikes there.
Yeah, in Muay Thai we definitely use the post, which is either just on the neck, on the chin, on the shoulder to knock off balance. When they're heavy on their feet, you just follow up simply with a low kick.
Exactly, it's the same principle.
Yeah.
Now also, when you're shelling up here, you don't have to just grab these wrists, okay? I can also grab this side of the triceps. So my coach, Adam Lerner at 8-4 Boxing, we work on this stuff all the time, is I post right here behind the tricep. Again, I cut that 90, and now look where I am. I can strike, I can drop in, I can grab a single, go to the double, whatever it is. I've created that angle, but don't get too stuck on just trying to grab these wrists. Especially with these MMA gloves, our hands can really grip around the tricep too. So I get up here, grip around the tricep, get around to the back.
Nice.
And one of my favorite fights to watch of all time, TJ Dillashaw versus Renan Barão, the first one. TJ completely spun him around a few times. So TJ was right here, and whatever he did, he was in the back like this, like a magician. And for me, that's like the most demeaning thing. I'd rather get caught with a big overhand right, telegraph overhand right, and have a guy completely vanish and get to my back while I'm still facing this way. So you can really use these hand traps to kind of get around the backside there.
Speaking of angles, another one who uses hand traps very well, Vasily Lomachenko. Talk a little bit about that Dutch trap.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Of course, you guys must know who the Matrix is. Lomachenko is the man. He's one of my favorites to watch here. But when you have our opponent shelling up, one of the things you see him use all the time is this little Dutch hand trap, is what I learned to call it. But I'm going to reach here on the top of the hand, and I'm going to pull down, okay? As I pull, I'm already turning and coming in with that hook, okay? So you can do it to both sides, grabbing, pulling. Now, one thing my boy Terrion Flash Ware, he's in the UFC, he does this to me all the time. He'll hand trap me once, bam! And so now I know it's coming, right? So he gets me shelling up again. He hand traps me, and I pull that hand up as fast as I can, and then he rips me to the body.
I like that.
So it's really fun. Once you guys get used to hand trapping like that, you can start to use setups to more setups and keep going from there.
Really just manipulate your opponent. That's
Exactly.
awesome. Good stuff. Thanks, Coach. All right, guys, thanks for watching. So remember, the hands aren't only used for striking and grappling. You can use them to control and set up your next attack.
If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments below. I'll get back to you.
Until then, I'm Shane.
I'm Vince.
Fight Tips for the underdogs.